Here's the thing, if you're looking for online training as a side gig, the most important thing is to set a realistic income goal. So first off, I'm going to talk about how to do it. I'm going to talk about how to get started. But before I do that, I want to talk about who you might be. Now, the type of people who look at online training as a side gig are people who might be wanting to transition into the fitness industry from another industry. So let's say you were doing something else beforehand. Maybe personal training wasn't really a job when you were getting into the workforce. Maybe you always thought that you wanted to, do something, become a professional, or do some other job that was sort of more, I don't know, quote unquote normal. But you've always had a passion for fitness and you want to transition in and you figure I'm going to do this as a side gig beforehand. Or maybe this is just something that you always want to do on the side because you're super passionate. You see your friends and family kind of getting into disease. You want to figure out how to kind of share this with them. So most important thing is to start low pressure. You don't want to invest in any software. You don't want to invest in anything, to be honest, when you're starting this as a side gig. Okay, to get started as an online trainer, you need three things. You need to figure out a way to take money. You need to figure out a way to deliver a program. You need to figure out a way to deliver support. That's it. You don't need software for any of that. You take money with PayPal or Venmo. You deliver the program. You can send an Excel spreadsheet. You can use Google Docs, whatever it is. Support you can do via text message, audio message, Facebook, Messenger, whatever, WhatsApp. Like all of these things you're already doing. So don't think that in order to train people online, you've got to adopt all of these new technologies, take on these additional expenses. The most important thing is that you get going now, and you can get going for close to 100% profit. And when you do decide to get going, the most important thing is to start with your personal network. Now, this does not mean necessarily that you're going to have to train friends and family, although it might be, and I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that if you're careful. Maybe not close family, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I mean, people who you know or you knew at one point in your life could actually become your best clients. So regardless, though, you want to start with your personal network, and you want to introduce this idea to them before you're ready. So one of the coolest things and one of the coolest lines that I want to share with you, let me read it so I make sure that I get it right, is you speak to your friends and family and you say, hey, I'm thinking of doing some fitness training on the side. As you know, it's something I've always loved. What do you think? Who do you think I should work with? And actually taking feedback from them. Now, here you're doing a couple things. Number one, you're actually refining your pitch. So what you can do is you can actually take their words. Who do you think I should work with? What do you think I should be doing? You can actually start using their words and refine your pitch. And then everybody you speak to, you could start kind of testing out their words. Hey, I'm thinking of actually coaching women online who are about the same as me, maybe people who work a full-time job that are really, really busy, that just have a few pounds to lose. What do you think? What do you think that they need? And you can continue to refine that pitch. Now, the other thing that you're doing here is you're giving yourself an opportunity to talk about something to people without actually pitching them. And that's one of the most important things in permission marketing is if you go to somebody and say, hey, I have this thing, do you want to buy it? It becomes a much harder conversation. But if you go to somebody and say, hey, can you help me develop this thing or develop this idea about something that I'm passionate about? I'd really value your opinion. Now you get feedback. Now you get an opportunity to speak to somebody about something where they may not be open to speaking to you if you're trying to sell them something. And now they also become a part of your journey and have some buy-in to what you're doing and some ownership of what you're doing. And you might say to them at the end, hey, do you know anybody who might be interested in this, like when it's time? Oh, cool, can I get their name? Or do you mind making an introduction? Or if they say that they might be interested, then they can actually reserve their spot. And you can take like a $20 deposit just to reserve their spot for when you're ready. So as a side gig, that's how I'd recommend you start. Keep it really, really simple. Set a realistic income goal. Like, don't think that you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this on the side. The reality of it is you probably aren't to start. And then start with your personal network, begin with permission marketing, and kind of work your way to refining your pitch, getting people to reserve their spot, or introducing you to people who might be interested that they know.